Nosy parents of teenagers, what do you wish you shouldn't have seen? I raised a daughter as a single father. I am not a natural snoop. I try to not be too nosy. The worst part for me was having her around my mom. My mom is more nosy than any 5 people I have ever met. My mom was left alone in my house with just the dog when my daughter was 15. My daughter is now in her mid-20s and I still have not heard the last from my mom about her having 3 different celebs, and therefore is somehow perverted. She hasn't lived at home since she left for college at 18, and I'm still hearing about it. A corncob won't get her pregnant, hooked on drugs, or hit her up for money, so it's fine by me. My son has a towel for a specific private purpose. It needs to be washed. My mom walked in on me doing a 2-handed lube jerk. The headphones I had on were loud enough to block out the door opening sound but not her scream. She was more mad at the fact that you were using her lube. My mom found my butt plug tail on the bathroom counter. I had washed it and forgot it in there. She was crying laughing as she threw it at me. Well, at least you'd washed it. As a kid, it seemed like no matter where you hid crap, your mother would find it. I had a nice stash of spank mags when I was a young teen, and decided I would hide them in one of my guitar cases, even behind the guitar. My mother would have absolutely no reason whatsoever to open one of those. She still found them, and acted like she wasn't looking for anything. Ugh. Couldn't imagine tearing my kid's room apart looking for something unless I absolutely had to. This is why people find stashes of pee in the woods. I found a poopy corncob hidden in the now unused floor vent in the bathroom. I lived with my mom and 4 younger brothers. It doesn't matter whose it was. I'm still wishing I'd never seen that. When we moved house and all the stuff was in the new place, one of the moving guys called me out to double check the receipt, and when we were out of my mom's earshot eyeline he handed me the herb pipe that had fallen out of the hidey hole in the back of my desk when they were moving it. What a bro. What a badass mover guy. Reminds me of smoking out of a bong in the backyard with my friends during my high school years, and the pool guy came back for the weekly cleaning and saw us. He just said, "Don't worry about me. I was in high school once too." I had a dragon corncob in a specially made container that looked like a pillow. My mom still found that crap. Schmorman. That was a nasty conversation. Comma is a guy. Not a parent, but a snooping child. Found a box of my mom's corncobs and lube in a different drawer. Found a photo of my dad naked in the shower. My dad had died several years prior to my snooping discovery. Not a parent, but the only time my mom ever searched my computer history was 10 minutes after I had googled what quiz are. I was playing a game of Scrabble with my mom and a friend, and one of us played queef. We then got the pleasure of explaining what it was to my mom. She was so excited about the new word she went to work that night and made sure everyone else knew it too. Not a parent, just a dumb mother. My dad once found pee, huge dong in girl's butt, doggy, as my desktop wallpaper because I thought it would be better to fap that way. Upvote for efficiency. Not a parent. This happened a couple years ago when I still lived with my mom and stepdad. My stepsister used to live in my room and it had been nearly a year since she moved out. I had a vibrating corncob that my best friend had bought me as a joke, but not really a joke, for a birthday gift. I used it frequently and I would hide it in the bottom of a drawer in my closet hidden in a hat. My mom decided to snoop and found it, but somehow thought it was my stepsister's and kept it. I asked her about it and she was blown away by the fact that I masturbated, but she was going to send the toy in the mail back to my sisty without telling her. Now that would have been a disaster. TLDR. My mom almost sent my dildo to my sister in the mail. Update. I texted her about it and she had the typical response like, "Not my daughter," and yes, I did get it back but soon threw it out because the thought of my mom knowing what I use was too much. Not sure if your mom is a total troll or just really considerate. My mom cleaned my room, totally not to snoop, and found my corncob and celeb when I was 18. Serves her right. The toys were really well hidden. She had to dig to find them. Also not a parent, but I have a younger brother. I went to his room to search something up on the internet, and he left his tabs open. Apparently he likes Wincest. I wouldn't jump to any conclusions. I keep seeing thumbnails that look good with ridiculous titles. I don't understand why so many of them feel the need to have an incest plot, but I'm not gonna listen to them speak anyway. So I'm a parent, so one weekend wife and I are chilling out in bed watching whatever garbage on TV when our youngest son, 11, comes in and says oldest brother, 13, is looking at P on his tablet. So we call for oldest son. He denies and denies, of course, so tell him to bring me his tablet. He hasn't learned the art of incognito browsing or clearing history completely, going through his history. Well, I'll be damned. He is looking at P. Not just any P though. Some anime stuff, some adult raunchy stuff. But the real kicker was the Scooby-Doo P. Fred fricking Velma. Shaggy fricking Daphne. Velma doing Daphne. etc. So mom leaves the room to let dad and his son talk about this. Starts with the usual. Don't lie. You can't hide this crap from me if I go through your browsing history. It's okay to masturbate. In private, of course. You're growing up. Yada yada yada. Finish the conversation. Give him his tablet back. But as he's walking out the door, I can't but help do my best worst Scooby impression, but Shaggy followed by zoinks, jinkies and rah found your pee. His face got so red, and I just lost it. I was in tears. Now every so often, when he starts to cop an attitude with us, I just go zoinks to him. Kicker of it all, youngest son comes into the room with "I was only joking. I didn't know he really was." How are there two separate comments about Scooby-Doo P in this thread? I've watched a lot of P in my day and I'll never get Rule 34 stuff. Even beyond that, I don't get how Scooby-Doo is the show mentioned in two separate examples. Weird. My 12-year-old stepson's group chat on his iPhone entitled "Sarah Suck Big Dong." I was cleaning my 7-year-old's room because it was a freaking mess and I was sick of it. I found a collection of apple cores, orange peels and candy wrappers stashed under the bed. Some had been there a long time. Back in high school, my friend Ali's house was right next to our campus. I wasn't allowed to go hang out after school, though. No boys were unless her mother was home. Why? Because mom had walked in on a lie giving a guy fellatio in the basement one day. The only reason I actually know this story is because one day I was there with parental supervision, and when mom has to leave for errands, she said, "Well, I wish I could leave you guys here alone." But I guess a lie really blew that chance. I have never seen a teenager turn that red. Not a parent, but was preteen at the time the internet was starting to get going. My parents saw my search history after I became confused how physical intimacy worked in homosexual relationships and googled it. That led to some interesting questions. Not a parent, but when my brother was 7 he was complaining of my mom's PC running slow. Out of curiosity I check history in case he downloaded any viruses. Minecraft P was multiple of the searches. Yep, wish I was kidding : So I have a bunch of weird sleep issues and one of them is the ability to hold conversations with people while I am in a deep sleep. I have no memory of the conversations. My mom found out about this when I was a teenager and apparently she would sneak into my room in the middle of the night and sleep me would dish out all the scoop. Who was having a party? Who I liked? Which of my friends made bad life choices? Everything. She would never punish me for it but would give advice based on what sleep me confessed. It always confused me on how much she knew about my life. When I'm extra tired or stressed this comes back, and apparently I have had hilarious conversations with my husband. I have just recently discovered that I passed this trait down to my son. Part of me is tempted to get the scoop from my kid, but another part of me wants to respect his personal space. Not a parent, but a witness to their finding something they didn't want to see. Work IT. Guy had his daughter's computer that was having issues opening some photo application and needed it fixed. As we're going through and checking if it worked, yet, opened up and presented an image of his daughter, naked, holding a huge corn cob. No words were exchanged. He closed the lid and left. His sweet little angle with a sweet big corn cob. Lol. My son's hentai collection. I need eye bleach. Hentai. He bleach. I once found a sock that would not only stand on its own but could be used to prop a window open. I would have sat the kid down for a conversation, but I don't have kids. I also have an uneven number of socks now. Wait, what? My daughter's boyfriend left his condom wrapper in her bathroom trash can. Twice. It was a Magnum. Both times. I'm very glad they are using double protection. She's also on BC and they were both virgins. But goddamn I hate it. Well, at least he's got a Magnum dong. Typical not a parent. I was helping my recently turned teen cousin with a PC problem. I know his dad has some controls set, so I did a little snooping to see how effective they were. Apparently the kid discovered futanery and hentai. He likes the classics. Black Bible was searched for a lot. Didn't tell his dad, but I did pure all the frick out of my hands. Bible Black, my man. Parents, why do you feel the need to go through your teen stuff? My mom always went through my stuff. I never had anything to hide, but it always made me feel violated, and it made me feel the need to hide stuff from my parents. Even if it was something small like a date or a birthday card from a friend. Let your teens have a safer place in their room where they can keep stuff that they feel is private. If you have any worries about drugs or other things, be honest and open with them. My mum found all kinds of crap when she decided to move my entire freaking room to another room of the house while I was away for the weekend for no goddamn reason whatsoever. Mayo. I imagine you sitting in an old people's home when you're 80 muttering God freaking damn it every time you're reminded of that. Neither of my parents seem to be nosy, but I have had some interesting moments. Like at one point my dad wanted me to look something on the web and saw I had Medina Arabic on the bookmark tab. And, naturally, his first response is, "Are you trying to join ISIS?" I am just really into languages, something that apparently my family finds really weird. I'm not a parent, but on my 16th birthday my girlfriend at the time was over and we were in my room watching a movie, just chillin'. I went downstairs at a point during the night, leaving the GF in the room to get a drink of water. Whilst downstairs my mother asks me if I had any laundry to be done. This wouldn't be strange for most 16-year-old guys, but I had been doing my own laundry since I was 14 due to my parents regularly being away for days at a time for work. I was confused but just replied, "No, I did some yesterday. I'm checking anyway." So she did. I got my glass of water and one for the GF and started my path back to my room when two shrill screams come from that direction. I ran to the door. My mother storms out, eyes on the ground, and grumbles, "I'm never going into your freaking room again." I enter the room, perplexed, only to find my GF wrapped in a bedsheet on the bed, her clothes strewn on the ground. She had been sat on the edge of the bed with nothing on whatsoever when my mother walked in. The night was ruined and my mother never entered my room again. I am sure she regrets being such a nosy fool. Your freaking room. Accurate. My mom found a thing saying I was bi and confronted me while crying about it and begging me to tell her why I had turned away from God. 6 years later and I'm still so far in the closet I may as well rule Narnia. Also, she found my yaoi stash when I was a frickin' weeb lol. A small bag of herbs stuffed in the bottom of his fleshlight. Wish I had not found my own teenage diary hidden in my teen daughter's room. Not a parent's story, but my piece of crap brother-in-law would try to catch me doing crap. My sister is much older, so I'd stay with them sometimes in the summer when I was a kid. He showed me his new computer and then said don't give anyone my AOL password and just left me alone for a day while they worked. I was 12 with free reign to the internet. He came home with a perverted grin on his fat face. "Did you know I can see what websites you've been to today?" "Oh, I can." He sat down at his computer, fired up the history with a glint in his dead pig eyes and saw 12 hours of activity of me doing two things: reading about animorphs and Star Trek and chatting about animorphs and Star Trek. Not a parent. Went to take a pee in a stall at school. Found a cell phone on the TP dispenser. It didn't have a lock screen. I thought I would search in the contacts for someone the owner spoke to regularly, mom or whoever, to send them a text. Found your son's phone. It'll be with campus security. As soon as I swiped to unlock, it opened to a Google image search result page for vivacious she-males. I wiped the browser history, turned it into security, and went about my day like nothing happened. It was at that moment I realized how numb I was to odd crap. I was not being nosy. Our family shares an Apple Cloud account, and when looking through apps that people had downloaded, I found one about different copulation positions. My oldest kid at the time was around 12. Teenager in my case. I'm always terrified that my parents will go through the various papers I have in my room and find the tests that I didn't do as well as they would have wanted me to do. This is innocent as frick. Not a parent, but my stepdad tracks not only my phone but also my bank account, so almost everything. He tried to track what I do on the computer, but I'm more tech savvy than he is. A friend of mine once set the homepage on his dad's work computer to a P site. You know, those viruses that automatically set themselves. His dad got greeted with a large woman pleasing herself with a zucchini next time he opened his browser. At work, he was not pleased, but the IT guy who had to take care of it must have had a good laugh. Your friend is kind of a little crap. Do that to someone's home computer. Doing that to someone's work computer can make you have to talk to HR and IT and is a pitter for everyone involved. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.